no. Did Gino just say the quiet part out loud? Is that what just happened? Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Penguins 4, Predators 2. It sure doesn't look like it's going to mean anything. The Penguins need 2 outcomes to go their way tonight, as opposed to the 0 outcomes out of 3 games that didn't go their way last night. They need both the Capitals losing in Philadelphia and the Red Wings losing in Montreal. That just doesn't seem likely, being real here. But what ends up happening in these equations, and I've covered sports over a lifetime and have noticed this pattern on countless occasions, that's, I can guarantee you, going to turn some people off right now as it relates to the Penguins' own reactions to their own play. And that is that there's never a bad thing that's associated with winning. Professional athletes, particularly within team sports, are conditioned to winning equals good, losing equals bad. And when they win, everything is good. I saw the same things with the Steelers near the end of their run to the playoffs this past NFL season, where they would win and they'd be like, yeah, this is all great. This is so good. And they're hyped up about it and everything else. And the fan base and everybody else on the outside is going, there's no chance. There's no chance. They need too many other things to go right. Well, the Steelers did get enough things to go right, and they did manage to squeeze into the playoffs. But within their world, within what they're doing, not just for a living, but for each other as teammates, as family, they're succeeding. And in the Penguins' case, they're succeeding at a really high level of late. It's not just a really good Nashville team that they've beaten. They've beaten the Rangers. They've beaten the Lightning. And heck, they've taken care of these 2 teams that could knock them out tonight. Beat the Capitals down there. Beat the Red Wings in Pittsburgh. One after one after one, day after day after day, everybody but the Bruins. Everybody but the Bruins, they took down. So as I say that to you, now listen to what Evgeny Malkin had to say after the game last night.
If we play like this like whole year, probably we clinch the playoffs, but tomorrow big day for us, and we hope. But again, we have great potential here, and we know that, but we start a little bit late probably. But again, fun to play with these guys last 3 weeks, and after the trade line, we trade against, probably everybody say yeah, they have 0 chance, and probably we have 1% 3 weeks ago. Now we're still fighting, but again, everybody play amazing.
You know that little hop that he has in his voice whenever he's excited, whenever he's really stoked? You heard it there, right? That's it. It's familiar. He's been like that for a long, long time in Pittsburgh. That's how they're all going to be. That's how they're all going to feel, because they're doing what they can control, and they've been doing it for about a month now. And I can promise you that these players are going to continue to feel that way regardless of how this season ends up, because they feel like, and I don't have to guess at this because a few of them have told me this, they feel like they've uncovered or unlocked whatever was missing all along. And you've done this, I've done this, where we kind of paint everything as being about effort. And make no mistake, they've had effort issues over the course of the season. They've had focus issues. But they're looking at it differently, and they're the ones playing the games. They're looking at it as if, oh, this is what we needed to do. Not just how hard we need to play, but this is actually what we needed to do. Everything's in sync. Our defense turns to offense. Our offense turns to defense when they do the tracking back. We're getting the goaltending. We're actually, getting the occasional power play goal. We're not blowing as many big leads now as we had been. But more than anything, at 5-on-5, they feel like they've got something that they've really unearthed, and they talk about it as if it's something that they're so stoked about they can't wait to carry it into next season. Where here again, I think there's a bit of a disconnect between what they think and what the rest of us think, which is that, oh my God, they better do some different stuff over this coming summer, or else it'll get that much uglier next season. They're not doing that because they're living all of this winning. So when you hear Gino say what he said, and he says it in an almost casual way, like, you realize that, hey, if we had played like this all year, we wouldn't be coming down to the last stinking point on the next to last day of the season. Like, the loss to Anaheim, the 4-goal lead in Denver, the 2-goal lead in Columbus of all places. There's 1 point. This is about 1 point. It could have been at any stage of the season, on any single day of the season. All the pouting that followed the Jake Gensel trade, where everybody just kind of went, woe is us. That was in Newark and in Dallas, and then leading into that 4-goal blown lead in Denver. Any of those could have brought a single point. But right now, that's not what you're going to get from them. What you're going to get from them is the loud music in the background in the locker room, and they're really feeling good about themselves. And a part of me right now thinks that's okay. That's okay. This has been a commendable run, no matter how it ends up. But man, the carryover concept? Wow, we'll see. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q comes from Carmen, who says, DK, shame on Mike Sullivan, Ron Hextall, and Kyle Dubas for 6 weeks for wasting these last 2 historic years by the captain. Carmen, I don't know that I'm going to agree with anything more that anybody sends me in this calendar year than what you just sent. Because the biggest, most damning variable in all of this that makes it so disappointing is that Sid had the kind of year that Sid did, and then poured it on at the end. Just went berserk. Did you know that since the middle of March that Sid's the NHL's leading scorer? Not leading goal scorer, he's leading everything. He's leading everybody at crunch time at age 36. And the 3 gentlemen, and you could throw in a handful of other names there as well, very easily, threw this away to varying degrees and over varying time spans, threw this away. And you can't have that back. You can't get that as a mulligan, as a do-over. Sid's not going to be 36 again next year. He's going to be 37. Now, for all I know, given that he's Sid, he'll be even better. Who knows with him? But the odds are against it. The odds are against Sid putting up 40 goals again, 50 assists again. Got his 50th last night. And while I'm at it, the odds are against some of Sid's key teammates being able to replicate even what they did this season, whether that's Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, Erik Karlsson. We do know that Sid's not going to have the best left winger he's ever had come back. At least it seems immensely unlikely. But you look at some of the mistakes that were made, some of the misjudgments, and don't leave Fenway Sports Group out of it either. And what you have that stands out above and beyond all else is having a part of the Sidney Crosby legacy that you're responsible for not go right. Every year that you're associated with Sid, not because of what he's done in the past, not because of who he is or who he was, but because of what he is right in front of your face. Every year of that is precious. Every game of that is precious. That's something Dubas had to learn the hard way. I'll tell you this right now. I'm going to be at that game tomorrow night in Elmont, unconditionally. And it's going to be excruciating to see Sid, if this comes to pass, miss out on the playoffs for a second year. It's not asking a ton to get him into the playoffs. 16 teams make it. Half the league makes it. At least 2 teams, possibly 3 teams in the Eastern Conference that are demonstrably worse than the Penguins, meaning in terms of roster capacity and everything, will make it, and the Penguins won't. 16 teams that do not have a Sidney Crosby will make the playoffs, and Sid won't. That's mismanagement. That's mismanagement across the board and spanning now 2 different management groups, and of course, 1 coaching staff. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins, and we'll be back with another one tomorrow.